what it's like to be hated. I know what it's like to be a Black woman and hated because of my color.
Yeah.
I can't imagine this young lady, I don't want to use hate, but despised. She brought some on herself, whatever, a little bit, because she's cocky for a good reason. And I love that about her. I didn't know how talented she was and how well she sees the game in a 3D version. Thinker, defensively a lot better than I thought.
When Cheryl Miller really watched Caitlin Clark play, she noticed something that surprised even her. Miller knows exactly what it feels like to carry huge pressure, but she admitted Clark's game is even more complete than she first believed. The biggest story isn't the controversy around Clark. It's the fact that one of basketball's greatest legends saw her up close and realized she was even better than expected.
I understand that this girl is hated. Like, I was hated for my skin color back in the day, and now it seems like Caitlin Clark is hated for her skin color. Very, very interesting. So it seems like Cheryl Miller is able to relate.
Miller's comments instantly sparked a huge debate about why Caitlin Clark faces so much criticism. But the real story goes much deeper. What does it mean when a basketball legend says Clark sees the game on another level, plays better defense than people expected, and has every reason to be confident? That question becomes even more important when you look at Indiana's matchup against Connecticut and the bigger challenge facing the Fever. The real issue isn't whether Clark is good enough to dominate.
We have to get into this game today. The Indiana Fever are set to take on the Connecticut Sun, one of the bottom feeders of the league. But hey, the Indiana Fever have played down to the competition and given them chances to win games. And, so you never know what is going to happen. The
Connecticut came into the game with a 7-19 record, making this a matchup Indiana should have controlled from the start. But records can be misleading. The Fever have let weaker teams stay in games before by slowing down their offense, missing easy chances, and moving away from the fast style that makes them so dangerous. That's why this game was about more than just getting a win before the All-Star break. Indiana didn't just need to win, they needed to show they could spot a weak opponent, attack right away, and avoid another stressful fourth-quarter battle.
Caitlin Clark sending us off into All-Star break the right way. Stephanie White needs to let Caitlin Clark boogie and do her thing. Okay, get out the way. I think we could be in for another 35, 40-point explosion.
Predicting 35 or 40 points may sound bold, but that's exactly what Caitlin Clark can do when she controls the pace and gets enough touches to find her rhythm. She's not just a shooter waiting for open looks. Her presence changes the entire defense. Defenders have to decide whether to guard her closely, send help, or leave someone else open. That's what makes her so dangerous. Giving Clark the ball doesn't mean she has to take every shot. It means she forces the defense to react first. As soon as two defenders focus on Clark, Indiana gets easy scoring chances: a rolling teammate, a backdoor cut, an open skip pass, or a wide-open three-pointer.
Kelsey to pass it every once in a while, but hey, she's been balling. I'm not here to knock on Kelsey. Kelsey has been balling as well. As long as Stephanie White gets out of Caitlin Clark way, the Indiana Fever should absolutely have their way. Have their way with this Connecticut.
The criticism of Stephanie White may sound harsh, but there is a real basketball point behind it. Coaching Caitlin Clark doesn't mean letting her do whatever she wants, it means building the offense around the skills that make her so dangerous. White has to manage the entire roster. Kelsey Mitchell needs chances to score, Aaliyah Boston deserves touches inside, the bench needs clear roles, and defense and player fatigue still matter. But none of that means treating Clark like she's just another player. Mitchell has been scoring well and gives Indiana another major scoring threat, but the offense works best when she and Clark play together instead of taking turns.
It's like to be hated. It's not because she's cocky on the court. That's hoops. She deserves to be cocky on the court. She's pulling up from 38 feet, knocking it down, throwing passes that nobody else in the league can throw. She's hated because of all the attention she has brought to the league, the jealousy of these players, the fact that it's a white girl from Iowa that showed up to this league and brought all of
this. Is where the discussion becomes more complicated. Some people believe Caitlin Clark's race and massive popularity are the main reasons she receives so much criticism and physical play. Cheryl Miller did say she understands what it's like to be hated, but she never claimed that every player, coach, referee, or league official is acting for the same reason. What we do know is that Clark brings an incredible amount of attention to every game, and every foul, coaching decision, and controversial moment involving her is watched by millions of fans. But without solid evidence, it's impossible to say that every missed call or negative reaction comes from one shared motive. The bigger and more believable story is that Clark changed the WNBA almost overnight. She boosted ticket sales, TV ratings, media coverage, and the league's popularity, while changing the spotlight inside the league. Players who spent years building their careers suddenly found themselves constantly compared to Clark.
And stand it, and Cheryl Miller sees it, and she spoke on it, and I'm actually glad that she talked about it. I'm actually glad that she was able to admit that Caitlin Clark is being flat out hated on by these players, by the commissioner, by the refs, all around. Sabotage by the organization that she plays for, the coach, Stephanie White.
Some people expand the criticism beyond the court, accusing players, the WNBA commissioner, referees, the Indiana Fever, and even Stephanie White of working against Caitlin Clark. That's a huge claim, and there isn't public evidence proving a coordinated effort. What the evidence does show is a series of decisions that often leave Clark supporters wondering why the league doesn't always maximize the impact of its biggest star. The officiating debate is real because hard fouls and missed calls involving Clark are replayed and discussed constantly. The coaching debate is real because her minutes, substitutions, and time without the ball directly affect Indiana's success.
Asia Wilson and the Goon Squad talking about cornering Caitlin Clark to talk to her and all of this stuff. Y'all have lost y'all damn minds. Y'all have lost y'all minds. Y'all need to be, instead of corner her for a conversation, y'all need to be getting on your knees and bowing and saying thank you. That's what y'all need to be doing.
The claim that Aya Wilson and other players wanted to have a conversation with Caitlin Clark adds even more drama, but the details shouldn't be exaggerated without clear confirmation. What it really shows is how quickly normal interactions between players can turn into major storylines. If veteran stars talk with Clark, some fans see it as intimidation. If they don't, others call it jealousy. If Clark joins every league event, people say she's getting too much attention. If she skips one, she's accused of not supporting the league. That's an impossible standard for any player. Clark's job is to compete, represent the Indiana Fever professionally, and honor the commitments she chooses to make. She isn't responsible for fixing every debate surrounding women's basketball.
Fever to put BTA versus the Connecticut Sun. As long as Stephanie White keeps her you-know-what out of the way and doesn't try to be the smartest person in the room, that usually leads to not so good things for the Indiana Fever. We all know that. Second thing, Aaliyah Boston, make your layups. Monique Billings, make your layups. Michaela Timpson, make your layups. Everybody.
Now the attention shifts back to the game itself, and this is where everything becomes simple. Finish the easy chances. Indiana's offense creates great opportunities, but they don't matter if the shots don't go in. Caitlin Clark can beat her defender, force the defense to help, and deliver a perfect pass to an open teammate. If that shot is made, it's an assist and proof the offense is working. If it's missed, it's just another empty possession that can even lead to an easy fast break for Connecticut. The play is exactly the same, but the result completely changes how people judge it. Aaliyah Boston is a huge part of this because she has the strength to set solid screens, catch difficult passes, and finish around the basket. But the Fever need quick, decisive action. Weak screens and hesitation give the defense time to recover and erase the advantage Clark creates.
The ball in Caitlin Clark's hands and make layups, you win this game by double digits. Bare minimum, without anything else. If you have the ball in Caitlin Clark's hands and everybody makes layups, you win this game by double digits. Even if you play bad defense, even if you're not rebounding the best, if you have the ball in the GOAT's hands and everybody else is making it.
Prediction that Indiana would still win by double digits even with poor defense or rebounding is probably too optimistic. But the main idea is still true. If the Fever protect the ball and finish their easy scoring chances, they can take away many of the opportunities an underdog needs to pull off an upset. Connecticut's best chance was to create extra possessions by forcing turnovers, grabbing offensive rebounds, taking advantage of missed layups, and slowing the game until every possession became stressful. Indiana's formula was much simpler: let Caitlin Clark create open shots, finish those chances, and force Connecticut to score consistently in the half court.
The other thing is going to be, we need one person from the bench to join the party, okay? We know Sophie the Blonde Bomber is always down to join the party and pitch in, but if Sophie is off, is it going to be Michaela Timpson that has a good game off the bench? Is it going to be Ty Harris that gives a good game off the bench? You're going to need at least one person from the bench to join in on the party and contribute on the offensive end, not just, the defensive end. Whether that's Ty Harris coming off the bench giving you 11 points, whether that's Sophie Cunningham coming off the bench hitting 3 or 4 threes, Like, you're
The
going to.
bench is another key part of Indiana's success. The Fever don't need every reserve to score 10 or 15 points, they just need 1 or 2 players to make a positive impact without forcing the starters to come back and fix everything. Sophie Cunningham is a great example. When she's making three-pointers, she punishes defenses for focusing too much on Caitlin Clark and brings energy that can change the momentum of a game. But when her shot isn't falling, Indiana needs someone else to step up. Tyasha Harris can help by keeping the offense organized. She doesn't have to play like Clark, she just needs to run the offense smoothly, make smart decisions, and keep every possession under control.
The Fever should be able to get out of this game clean, healthy, whoop on the Connecticut Sun, and head off into All-Star Weekend. A lot of people are upset that Caitlin Clark is not participating in the three-point contest.
Staying healthy was one of Indiana's biggest priorities with All-Star Weekend right around the corner. A comfortable win would have allowed the Fever to rest their key players, reduce late-game pressure, and avoid unnecessary physical contact. But if the game stayed close, it would mean more minutes, more hard fouls, and another stressful finish before the break. That's why the first quarter was so important. If Indiana built a big lead early, the coaching staff would have more freedom to manage minutes.
Glad, y'all got so many other people y'all claiming are the faces of the league. Tell them to do it. Tell them to it's all these other stars, right? See if they can drive the ratings on that night. See if they can bring the ratings in. It's a couple people I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to watching Marina Mabrey shoot threes, and I'm looking forward to watching Natisha Heidemann. But what does Caitlin Clark owe you at this point?
The bigger question around All-Star Weekend is what the WNBA expects from its biggest stars. If the league wants to prove it has many marketable players, its events should still be exciting even if Caitlin Clark decides not to enter one competition. Her absence clearly affects attention. There's no doubt a Clark appearance would bring more viewers, highlights, and conversations. But the league's long-term success can't depend on asking one player to carry every promotional event while also criticizing how much attention she gets. There are also valid basketball reasons for Clark's decision. A three-point contest isn't just a few easy shots. It requires extra preparation, media appearances, practice, and another performance under intense public scrutiny.
Her job she's already made y'all rich. She's already done what she needs to do for y'all. And y'all been ungrateful. Y'all been very, very ungrateful if we're going to keep it real. So I don't think she needs to do anything else for these players. At this point, everybody needs to learn to go out and hunt and fend for themselves. If you can't get ratings for your three-point shootout, that's your problem, Kathy.
The question is simple. Should Caitlin Clark be expected to play in every event, boost every TV rating, and solve every marketing challenge just because she's the league's biggest star? Or should the Indiana Fever and the WNBA focus on building on the opportunities she has already created? Against Connecticut, Indiana's game plan was clear: let Clark run the offense, finish the easy scoring chances, get solid production from the bench, and take control before a 7-win team had a chance to believe it could pull off an upset. The bigger lesson goes beyond one game. When you have a player who creates so many advantages, the smartest move is to use those strengths instead of fighting them.
Banking on her being in this so she could bring y'all ratings and money. No. We'll show up for the All-Star game and that's it. What says you? Get down in the comments.
The claim that Caitlin Clark has already made the WNBA rich and owes the league nothing more is an exaggeration, but it highlights an important point. Cheryl Miller's comment about Clark seeing the game in 3 dimensions explains not only her impact on the court but also her influence off it. During a game, Clark sees the defender, the help defender, the cutter, the screener, and the open space before it even appears. Off the court, her popularity creates a similar chain reaction. More fans lead to higher TV ratings, more media coverage, bigger sponsorships, and greater attention for teammates, opponents, and the league as a whole. But creating an opportunity is different from finishing it. When Clark makes a perfect pass, her teammate still has to make the shot. In the same way, when Clark brings millions of new fans to the WNBA, the league still has to give those fans reasons to stay.